Is CBD oil all your dog needs to treat pain, seizures, cancer, anxiety? Can you take them off all their pharmaceutical drugs completely? Can you even avoid them in the first place? Well, yes and no. If your dog's condition is mild, if it's really well under control, it may be that you can just rely on CBD or other cannabis products. But if you remove their pharmaceutical medication inappropriately too early, if things aren't nice and settled, it may well be that your dog needs an emergency trip to the ER for a life-threatening complication. I spoke with cannabis expert veterinarian Dr. Kasara Andre, who explained more.
Should we be thinking about using these products in conjunction with our existing conventional medicines? Because I guess my concern is that people go, oh, I've heard CBD is good for seizures, my dog's having seizures, I'm going to go and buy this and I don't need to worry, or it would be wrong to start another drug, or I'm worried about this other drug and this is a more natural product. So my worry is that we're maybe relying on it too heavily, at least to start with.
I absolutely agree with that, Alex. I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of a big area of concern that the veterinary practicing community has towards pet parents who are interested in using cannabis, not because it's not an amazing modality, but this is something that my team works with a lot from the harm reduction education perspective. So both to colleagues and to pet parents, what you said now of cannabis has some amazing properties and is a really strong advocate for a lot of conditions. But if it jeopardizes an animal's health because a needed treatment is delayed, so saying cannabis is going to work, cannabis is going to work, and we really need some other pharmaceuticals on board or a surgery, something needs to happen. Or if a pet parent happens to see their animal improving, and I would say seizures is probably the number one case where we see this happen occasionally, of the animals feeling so much better, much less anxious. They're not seeing some of those preictal signs, but yet for that particular animal, their seizure pattern was a couple of months. And so the pet parent might pull off some of the anti-seizure meds, but cannabis isn't enough, or we don't have the molecular profile right enough to really control those seizures. And that can go really, really poorly for those animals, can end up in cluster seizures in the ER, because we weren't really taking that holistic point of view. We were focusing too much on cannabis instead of what that animal actually needed. So I agree. I think that delay of needed treatment or pulling off medication before it's appropriate are big concerns that I have all the time. Cannabis works beautifully with all of our medications that we know of so far. There's a couple that we're a little bit careful with, but as an adjunct, it's such a good supporter. And if the animal is able to come off some of those pharmaceuticals down the road, yes, that's amazing. But I always love starting with cannabis as an adjunct at first, until we see what the body is going to do, until we let it tell us how much support it needs.
Yeah. And I guess pain would be another, one of the classic kind of older dog or cat with arthritis is that we don't just treat with, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, which a lot of people accuse us, but we look at weight, we look at diet, we look at exercise, lifestyle, all that kind of thing. And cannabis, CBD can play a very important role in that. And that's absolutely one that once we get everything settled and that initial crisis over, if that's what's caused that presentation, then absolutely we might be able to withdraw those anti-inflammatory medications and just rely on everything else. So, what a fantastic situation to be in.
But if that dog tumbles down the stairs, I'm probably going to put it back on non-steroidals, and yet know that cannabis is supporting the health of the liver while it's on those other medications. So it really is a beautiful conjunction. It's a fun modality to work with.
To make sure that your dog is getting the most benefit from their CBD oil products as well as staying safe, make sure you check out this other video linked on screen, which is the full interview with Dr. Kasara. So make sure you click on that video. I'll see you there. But until next time, I'm veterinarian Dr. Alex. This is Our Pets Health, because they're family.